So will we not hear nothing from him or whatever? Not, I let that be what it is. My baby daddy wanted to marry me, but I was still married to my ex-husband, so we couldn't get married, which I was thankful for, because I did not want to have my second son. I didn't. At the time, like, I love my son to death now. I love him. Oh my God, I love my son. But I did not want to have another baby, and I did not want to have a baby by him, because we was literally on the verge of breaking up. So I didn't want to have a baby. I was guilt tripped into having that baby when I found out I was pregnant. But that's another story time. That's another story time. And I can't say too much about him because my family know why. My friends know why. And I know he's probably watching this. He's gonna use it for court later. Whatever. Don't care. Have at it. So back to the story. So all of this had happened, and that is what brought about the "you got kids, I'm embarrassed by your kids," and this and that. That's why when I said at the beginning, I think it was on part 2, when I was just like, I've heard this before. When he told me, "Oh, ain't nobody gonna want me because I got 2 kids by 2 different niggas," like, my baby daddy told me that. Because I wouldn't go back to him. I'm just like, I don't care. I would rather be by myself than be with you. Should have had that same mindset with D. I know that. But I learned throughout that conversation, I learned that I was trying to prove a point. I was trying to prove a point to my baby daddy that, like, no, somebody can want me. Like, somebody can want me. Like, he wants me. And I was trying to prove to him that, like, yeah, you saying you embarrassed by me, you don't want these kids, you don't want the kids, outside kids, or whatever. And I'm just like, I can make you change. Yes, I was one of those females, like, yes, I'm going to make him change, because I was the only female that has met his dad. So obviously I can do that. That's where my mind was. I was trying to prove a point. I was trying to prove a point to my baby daddy that somebody would want me. And I was trying to change this nigga that clearly I couldn't change. I could not change him. Didn't know it at the time. But I was just like, look, if you weren't so abusive and gaslighting me and so narcissistic, we could actually work. That's what I was thinking at the time. At the time. But anyway, after we had that talk, he was just like, look, I don't want to lose you, and I keep putting you in situations to where your health is at risk. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, you are. So he was just like, look, I'm going to change. I'm going to do better. So I'll end up going back to Jacksonville the next morning, because I had to be ready for drill at 5 in the morning. So I ended up going back to Jacksonville like 2 o'clock in the morning, driving back. And that weekend, he brought Jackson down to Jacksonville, and we went to the Jacksonville Zoo. He spent the whole weekend with me down there, and then they left on Sunday because Jackson had to go to school, and then I was there a whole another week. So that following weekend, he was back down. Like, he traveled down to see me, spend time with me, whatever. We had no more issues. But the last day of him spending time with me in Jacksonville, that last weekend, he sat me down. I was like, hey, I was thinking, you know I want to be a dog breeder, right? I was like, yeah. He was like, so how do you feel about us getting a female dog? I was like, we just got Atlas. We ain't even had Atlas a full year yet. He said, well, it's about to be a year. I'm like, we got Atlas when he was 4 months old. Well, maybe we can get this female when she's a little bit older so we can just start breeding them. And I'm like, you want to breed dogs right now? Like, right now? I'm like, my income isn't going to be enough for us to breed dogs, because there's going to be another dog I got to take. We got to take care of. Another dog that I'm financially responsible for. And then you trying to have puppies? In the house we ain't even supposed to have dogs in? Like, how does that make sense? And he was just like, so, how about this? When you get your income tax, you're going to buy the dog. And I'm going to put the dog's birth certificate in your name so it can be your dog. I'm like, how does that help me? How does that help me? He's like, look, I'm going to find a breeder. And when I find a breeder, I'll let you know how much it's going to be. But we can't get it from the same breeder because I don't want them to be siblings. So I'm like, you don't want them to be siblings? He's like, yeah, you don't want to do breeding. You don't want to breed siblings. I was like, well, I'm like, we'll see. Depending on how much this dog is, I'm like, because I don't have the extra money to be taking care of a dog. He was just like, well, just look at it as an investment. Like, this will be an investment. You're investing into our dog breeding or whatever. So I'm like, let me think about it. When we got home, maybe a week and a half later, he found a dog breeder. And within 5 days, we had a new dog. We had a female dog, Gaia. So we got Gaia, and we had to introduce Gaia to Atlas and get them acclimated, because they're both Presa Canarios. So they both have that Cane Corso Mastiff energy. But Gaia was a little bit more feistier than Atlas. Atlas was big and goofy. Gaia was like short, stocky, and like, get out my face. She's a female dog. So we got Gaia. After we got Gaia, I started to feel sick. I noticed that the smell of Gaia irritated me. Like, just, I don't know, it just irritated the fuck out of me. I didn't understand why. So I ended up taking a pregnancy test. Remember when I told you that on January the 28th, we had a slip up. And on January 28th, within 45 minutes of us having that slip up, I went to Walgreens, got a plan B, took a plan B, went to my annual training. Took a pregnancy test. It popped as pregnant. I sat on the bed looking at that pregnancy test, and Dee was standing over me, because we was waiting to take this test. Because not only was Gaia's, like, her smell irritating me, like, it wasn't making me sick, it was just irritating me. One of the signs that I know that I'm pregnant, because, you know, I've been pregnant before, barbecue sauce. I cannot stand the smell of barbecue sauce. Barbecue sauce made me sick. Chicken made me sick. So we went to a Chinese restaurant. Barbecue sauce, chicken. As soon as I sat down at the table and I took a bite of my wing and I got nauseous, I looked at him. I was like, we may need to take a test. Like, we may need to take a test. And that's what prompted us to take a test. That same night, went home, took a test, pregnant. I'm sitting on the bed, I'm looking at the pregnancy test, and I'm looking up at him, and I start crying. And he was just like, Kiana, don't cry. Babies are a beautiful thing. I'm like, we don't need no fucking baby. Like, that's the last thing we need right now. With everything that we got going on, a baby is the last thing we need. He was like, well, we didn't follow through with the last one. Like, the last one, we didn't see that pregnancy through. We're going to see this pregnancy through. And I'm like, he was like, hey, you better give me a boy. You gave all these other niggas boys, I better get my son. And I'm like, I cannot control the gender of the baby. Like, I cannot control the gender of the baby. He was like, all right, I'm going to just let you know. I told you I didn't want no girls. If you give me a girl, it's going to be fuck you and that girl. I better get a son. Like, you better give me a son. And I'm like, what? And that was the start of my stressful ass pregnancy with my baby boy.